With summer coming to an end and fall right around the corner, we're focusing on hunting season around this great country of ours. And to help us get in the mood, and of course, to hear from one particularly high-ranking perspective, we're speaking with South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem today. Thanks so much for taking the time to answer some questions.
Oh, absolutely, Eric. It's good to be with you.
Likewise. So I can't beat around the bush. I want to talk about something that, has been on our minds for a while now. The past year and a half plus has changed the way we do a lot of things, except maybe one, and that's fulfilling our roles as outdoorsmen and women. If anything, this pandemic has introduced record high numbers of folks who are participating and getting out there. I wanted to ask you personally how you got outside during the pandemic, or maybe how you saw your constituents doing it, and sort of what it did for you during a time of stress and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Well, being outdoors has always been a way of life for me and my family. So doing this during the pandemic and encouraging others to participate in outdoor activities was easy for us. We spent a lot of time hiking. Even if it wasn't hunting season and we weren't out, fishing or, pursuing some of our wildlife, our family loves to just go on hikes throughout the Black Hills, the Badlands, other parts of South Dakota as well. And we encouraged people to do that. In fact, we focused on it a lot online. We knew that being outdoors was a safer place for people to be than being indoors and crowded together. And so promoting our state parks, our national parks here in South Dakota, and showing people different activities they could do outside and still be safe and protect their health was incredibly important to us.
That's great. Yeah, nothing like some fresh air and open spaces to get your mind off things. I want to know, I'm certain that you've been involved in the outdoor pursuits for a long time, but maybe if you could go in the Wayback Machine a bit and maybe bring up any favorite outdoor memories for you personally as a kid. Were there ways that the outdoors kind of helped shape the person you are today, the pathway you took?
Well, I was a farmer and a rancher, grew up on a ranch in northeastern South Dakota. So our whole life was spent outside working the land, but also our family vacations, any time we had to relax was spent outdoors as well. My dad loved fishing. Anytime it started to rain, we headed for the river or one of our glacial lakes in the area and went fishing. And we also went to the mountains a lot. He loved elk hunting, deer hunting. And so if we had a family vacation planned at all, it was usually after harvest was done. And he would say, Kristi, go load up the horses. And we would head to the mountains for a couple of weeks elk hunting. And many times we did that as an entire family. So most of my memories are spent outdoors and enjoying those activities and doing it as a family. So for us, my fondest memories are bird hunting with my grandmother, spending time with my brothers, scouting and planning our fall activities, even if it wasn't during that time of year. And that's why I think a lot of families would benefit from being outdoors, interacting, talking with their family members, and also enjoying watching our wildlife that's a gift to us.
Most definitely. Yeah, I'm hearing you, mention your family, your father, your grandmother, your brothers. And that's fantastic. That's something I think that nearly all of us who earn an appreciation for the outdoors sort of need to have. And that's a mentor, or at least somebody who kind of shows you the ropes. Is there one person in particular? Maybe you began to hint at it when you talked about your father there, but is there anyone that you kind of pinned down as your outdoor mentor, the one who basically showed you the way and taught you how to appreciate and get something out of outdoor rec?
Well, I would say if it came to fishing or big game hunting, it was my dad. He was the one who always said, jump in the pickup, let's go. And we just went. He wasn't a great teacher, but he was great by showing us, so necessarily we did it by doing it. And that's how we learned. But my grandmother was a very strong woman, and she was actually very well known for being an excellent duck hunter and loved bird hunting. So if I went out bird hunting as a young girl, I would go with her. And honestly, that's what showed me that so many women could enjoy and be involved in hunting and fishing and spend so much time doing that together. She had several friends that went with her quite often. And it was just great to go out with a group of ladies when I was very young and to see them exemplify what it means to live off the land.
That's fantastic. And you're nearly answering a question before I get to ask it, but that's great. And it makes for a nice segue. Statistics are proving that women are being introduced to and participating in hunting, shooting sports, fishing, all sorts of outdoor pursuits. And for you to get to be able to see that at a young age from your grandmothers, it's fantastic. Can you maybe talk a little bit more about that importance of female numbers in this space and representation and making sure that women have easy access and open doors to doing these things?
Well, pheasant hunting is a big deal to South Dakota. That is our state bird, and we celebrate annually pheasant hunting. That's what my grandmother loved so much. And many times when I was out walking with her and hunting with her and her friends, it was pheasant hunting or duck hunting. And one thing that people forget so often is that being out on these types of activities is very social. You do a lot of talking, a lot of conversations and laughing. It's good for your well-being. And also for us, we always enjoyed watching our dogs work. Animals are incredibly important to me in particular and to my entire family. So watching good dogs do what they do best and use their natural instincts to help us harvest the wildlife off the land was incredibly special for me. And that's one of the things that brought my grandmother great joy, was she had great Labrador retrievers that she always had. And we loved talking about their gifts, their talents, and how much they facilitated us really having a great hunting experience.
That's wonderful. Yeah. And sort of an unsung aspect of bird hunting is getting to watch good dogs do their thing. That's cool.
That's
Spoken
right.
like somebody who knows. Yeah, I can hear it in your voice. And, things have now sort of come full circle, if you will, because you recently have become a grandmother yourself. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'd like to just talk a little bit more about raising a family, more young children when you are the one responsible for their upbringing. Are there lessons that you felt were important to impart on your children, and now are there things you're looking forward to doing with your grandchildren?
Well, so many times I hear parents think they have to leave their kids home when they go hunting. And from the time my kids were very small, they just came along. We always kept them safe, but we made sure that they were with us and knew that they could grow up in doing this kind of activity as a hobby or a sport or whatever they chose to pursue. But that is because it's a way of life for us. It's a part of our culture and our heritage. And it teaches us all and them and our young kids to value the wildlife, to watch them, to study them, to appreciate their habits and what they need to survive and to thrive. And then also how to protect our land and make sure there's diversity out there and that we have habitat and that we're caring for it. So I think taking your children with you is probably the biggest thing that you could do to instill this way of life in them, is so they get to see it and they get to experience those special moments with you and see how much joy you take from it. I know one of the best things that my family ever did for me was to give me the opportunity to see them doing things that they love. Watching my dad so enjoy being in the mountains and spending time with his horses and pursuing elk, and watching my grandmother enjoy her dogs and harvest birds with her friends. Those moments of joy are what I hang on to and that I want my grandchildren to grow up with.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I have kids of my own. It is important to, begin setting them up early, and especially in today's world of screens and urbanization, and, kids go through their entire adolescent lives without really getting to experience some of these things. So what we can do to help encourage that, always important stuff. And I'm glad to hear you having that as such a high priority, for sure. How about your personal plans? Are there outdoor pursuits that you do every fall season, like annual trips? Does your job allow for as much outdoor rec time as you'd like?
I had anticipated that I might have a little bit more time for hunting and fishing, being governor, than when I was in Washington, D.C., because in D.C. I was on airplanes back and forth quite a bit for those few years I served in Congress. But I do have an elk hunting trip planned this fall. I do have some deer tags I plan to fill. I love fishing, and fishing's easy because you can just go out for a few hours if you want to, and then come back and work in the afternoon. So even if I take a trip somewhere, or have a meeting or need to speak somewhere, I'll ask them if they can facilitate a few hours of fishing in the morning before we do our official events. So I do have quite a few plans. Pheasant hunting is a big part of our way of life here. So this fall, we spend many days pheasant hunting. Usually it's on the weekends or with a group in the afternoon. We always get our work done, but it is a great way to detox. It's a great way to get out of the office. And you were right, get away from the screens. So many times we're focused on our work and we don't recognize that it's really relationships that help you be a happier person, help you make better decisions. And that diversity of being outside and doing a different activity that gives you physical activity as well can be incredibly beneficial and help you be more productive.
Very well said. Yeah, couldn't agree more. Here's a question I like asking seasoned sportsmen and women because it's typically a pretty diverse answer. After a hunting or fishing trip, what is your go-to wild game meal?
Oh, usually it's pheasant. We have a recipe that we like that's easy, but you just wrap some pheasant breasts in corned beef and bacon and cover them with a cream sauce and bake them. And it's easy. You stick it in the oven while you go shower up and wait for it to get ready. It's fantastic. So that's kind of the standard go-to because it's easy, and anything wrapped in bacon tastes fantastic.
No brainer. Yes, absolutely. That sounds wonderful. Here's another question I'm sure you're eager and you enjoy answering. Why should sportsmen and women consider South Dakota as a hunting season destination?
Oh, South Dakota is so diverse. And I think that's what shocks people when they first come here. The Northeast is covered with glacial lakes. The best fishing in the world happens in South Dakota. In fact, we have people from all different states that come to participate in our fishing in the northeastern corner of the state. But then we have the Missouri River, which offers incredibly diverse fishing opportunities, from salmon and all the traditional species. And then you get out West River, it's the Badlands, the prairies, the antelope hunting. You get to the hills, the elk, the deer. It's just whatever your desire is, from bird hunting on our prairies to hiking and looking for big game. We offer it, and you can do it all in one trip. I ran a hunting lodge for many years. And what people came to our lodge for was because they didn't just come and had an opportunity to pheasant hunt. They could waterfowl hunt, they could turkey hunt, they could go fishing, or they could pursue pheasants. And they loved the fact that South Dakota offered so many opportunities.
Yeah, something for everyone. Definitely a big part of what South Dakota has going. I have had the pleasure at least once to get to hunt in your great state, and it was fantastic. And I think if folks didn't already have it on their radar, South Dakota should certainly be a place that they look up, find a little bit more about what's available to them, and they'll come to see. It's a pretty great destination for sure.
That'd be wonderful. That'd be wonderful.
Governor Noem, I must say once again, I really, really thank you. You are the first person of your status that we've gotten to interview here at Wide Open Spaces. So it is an honor, and we really, really appreciate it. I have one last question. It's sort of open association. You can respond to it the way you want, but it's what we like to ask folks as a close to our Q&A. Where are your favorite wide open spaces?
Well, my favorite place in the world is Custer State Park in the Black Hills. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. It's peaceful. And I can go out there and spend time doing riding horse, chasing buffalo, hunting, fishing. All of it happens right there. It's a little piece of heaven.
You had that answer ready. That was fabulous.
It's been my favorite for quite some time. Yeah, it's wonderful.
I believe you. Governor Noem, again, we really appreciate it. Thank you so much. The best of luck with your hunting success.
Thank you.
Otherwise, as the year comes to a close here. And thank you again. Take care. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. Have a wonderful day.